Here.
Ken Cleveland.
Here.
Ken Jackson.
Here.
Blaze Messenger.
Here.
John Post. Heather Jacob. Jessica Lamb. Here. Jack Buckus.
Here.
Chris Archer.
Here.
Joe Coletta.
Here.
Ron Rick.
Here.
No one from town? Okay. Agenda. Anyone have any changes? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries. Minutes. Everyone get a chance to review the minutes from last week? It's too late, Matt. Anyone have any comments? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Abstain.
Ken and Shannon abstain. Motion carries. Does the motion carry? 1, 2, 3.
Because you didn't have anyone say no.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, jeez.
Like, the exceptions don't count towards your total.
Okay, thank you. I'm still learning 3.5 years later? 2.5 years? How many years have we been doing this? 3? 3.5 years later? Oh, jeez, okay. Public comments? Anything get submitted? I don't. Anyone, any public comments? I think they're observing. I don't remember anything on
No public comments in the inbox.
social media either. Okay. All right. So updates. So last night was the planning and zoning meeting, and thank you, Ron, for putting that presentation together, and Claudio, thank you for coming and providing your insight. And I want to thank Julia Ariema. She was town council rep last night, and she came and put her 2 cents in as well. We were really close. So the application was submitted for both the shed and the digital sign together. So the either approve both, table both, or reject both. There wasn't you can only approve the shed. Okay. And there was a very, very lengthy discussion about their ability to approve the digital sign because the town council had rejected it, even though going back to town council on the 25th now to appeal it. And I want to thank Nick Dimitriadis because they're about to reject it, both of them, or table them, both of them, and push it out until the 17th, which wouldn't work for us. But Nick came in the last minute and was like, whoa, let's have a discussion. So I want to thank him for really, I think, between him and Stu Popper, Stu also mentioned the fact that, yes, the planning and zoning can approve. Their role in the town is to basically say, yes, you conform to the town standards, policies, whatever, or you don't. Their role is not to fund anything, not to say that it's, the project is approved necessarily. They're just there to say, yep, it meets our zoning laws, whatever, planning, whatever, you can build what you want to build. So there was a lot of discussion back and forth about whether or not they could even vote on it last night, but in the end, they did vote on it. They did pass both. There was contingencies, or I should say contingencies. There were conditions associated with the digital sign. The digital sign has to be off between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., so no night light. The scrolling signs or words, first of all, you can't scroll, but the sign can change at a rate no faster than every 2 minutes. So if they want multiple messages, you have to wait 2 minutes before you swap out the messages. And also with the understanding that if the town has any emergency messaging, that they have a capability to use the sign as well, which I thought were all very reasonable conditions. So as far as, I'm sorry?
Unless there's an emergency after 10 p.m.
Unless there's an emergency after 10 p.m. I don't think anyone's reading the sign at 10 p.m. anyways. It was a good outcome for us because we got all that cleared out. Claudio, you can move forward with the shed. I know we're trying to get that in before we start demolishing things. Town council meeting was supposed to happen next Wednesday, but it's the same night as high school graduation. So they are pushing it out. I think it's on June 25th. I won't be here. But I asked Dr. Macri to attend. I asked Jack to attend. June 25th?
Oh,
Yeah. So if anyone else
That's
is...
the regular town council meeting?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be the 11th.
Okay.
They're moving it out to 25th, 2 weeks. I don't know why the 18th. I thought it was the 18th, but an email came out from Amanda saying the 25th for, I don't know. I thought it was 18th. I just got the email like a couple hours ago saying that it was the 25th.
Okay.
Um,
So you think we should, sorry, I'll hold my questions.
Oh, no. So, Jack, if you can attend, great. Ron, if you want to attend, maybe to bring, actually, if you have that presentation again, to show them the same thing. Dr. Macri, I think, is going to attend. Claudia, you may want to attend, because they tend to listen to male voices. I'll leave it at that. So, I won't be there. If anyone else on the building committee would like to attend, Blaze, if you want to.
it's my wedding anniversary.
Oh, no, you're not going.
Should I bring my wife and?
I would, there's so many other things you can do for a wedding ceremony, for a wedding anniversary.
Maybe some lunch, put some lunch.
First thing the sign was gonna say.
Yeah, you get put on the sign.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. But if anyone else from the building committee can attend in my place, I'd appreciate it. Just to talk about the financials. I know, Jack, you're going to have all the data anyway, but the more the merrier. So for that meeting, we're going to need... So one of the things we have to discuss tonight, and I think it's on the agenda. Did I not put it on the agenda? Yes, under 10A. One of the things we have to talk about is what options we want to go forward to the town council with. The three options right now are the digital sign that we have all agreed and voted on and approved, a static lettering sign, aka a la 1982, or we kill the kill the signage altogether and just do a regular, not the signage part, but the messaging part of it, and just do a regular, just Cromwell Middle School, static, that's it. Those are the three options. So later on, we won't talk about it now, but think about it, stew on it a little bit. The question is, do we want to go to town council with all three signs, 2 signs, 1 sign? I recommend that we only go with the digital, and if they really balk on it, then the default will be just Cromwell Middle School, no boarding whatsoever. So we'll talk about that there. We did get a lot of town when people in the town thought about it. A lot of educators came and replied. So I think it's a popular idea in town. I think the lack of communication devices in town to alert people of things has been a problem, and this is definitely a positive value added investment. So I'm hoping the town realizes that. We'll see what happens. No other updates for me. Okay. Communication. Or did anyone have any questions on anything I just talked about? Maybe they're there first. Did you have questions, Shannon, or you want to wait?
They're communications questions, so I can wait
Okay.
during my report. Unless no other questions, I can go on. Okay. So we did hear back from the school about the dates that we talked about last time for the upcoming events. So August 27th at 4 p.m. will be the ribbon cutting ceremony. This will not include any tours. It will be a short event to kind of soft open the school before the school year starts. And then September 18th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. will be the broader open house that will include the ability to walk through the new school. So more details to come as we sort through all of that. Then my one question was, I already submitted our monthly town council report thinking that the meeting was going to be earlier in the month, and obviously a lot happens in 2 weeks, so should I send like a revised report to the town council or just use what we had?
September 24th was the grand opening, not the 18th.
September
Sorry.
24th?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
the date that Dr. McAfee agreed to.
Oh, you know what I did? I looked at the wrong, I looked at the 2024 meeting schedule. Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure we're.
Because I know it aligned with one of our meetings.
Yep. Yeah,
Thank you for confirming. So September 24th.
September
from
24th,
To
yeah.
6:30.
5 to 6:30.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that gives time to settle and then start our meeting at 7.
Yep.
And you said the ribbon cutting being August 27th, that's the first day of school?
Oh my gosh.
August
Did I mix up
26th.
all these?
August
Ugh.
26th.
No, it was
That
the Tuesday.
The
Okay,
Tuesday.
Tuesday would be August 26th.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
well.
August 26th.
Thank
Sorry.
you, everybody, for checking me.
August
Appreciate that.
26th at 4 p.m. is the
Yes,
ribbon cutting.
Tuesday.
Yeah, okay.
It's a Tuesday. And September 24th. No, is that what I just said? September 24th, yeah.
Yes.
For the grand opening
Tours.
with tours.
Yes.
And then our meeting's right after that.
Let me just add that there will be, our open house for parents is that first week of September.
Yeah.
So that's going to function as a,
Sure. Yeah, the
as a-
parents,
yeah.
yeah. it's-
And so.
This is more of a public thing.
Right, so
This-
just-
Parents
and
get the first
They get the
viewing
first, yeah, after the students.
after students.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. We wanted to make sure our open house was after that open house so
Do
that
you-
to ensure the functioning of the school.
Do you know if the tour dates for the students has been,
That has changed. They're no longer giving one
Oh.
beforehand because we're afraid we don't have time.
Okay.
We only have 2 days on the clock to unpack. So they're going to actually give the students the tours that very first day of school.
Oh, okay.
It's built into the schedule. So
Oh,
they'll
nice.
they'll get their tours
Yeah.
on Wednesday morning.
just-in-time training? I like it.
Yeah.
That's what we call it at work, just in time.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Sorry.
There'll be a lot of excitement that day.
There will be a lot of excitement. I'll be excited.
Yeah, so then just, we have to determine if we should update the town council report,
I'm sorry, to include.
whatever we discussed today. Because I already
Oh,
submitted the
oh.
town council report for their regular monthly
Yeah,
meeting,
'cause
but now
they're-
their meeting is 2 weeks
Yeah,
later, so
I would say yes.
we should probably submit a revised and updated
Yeah.
town council report.
Yeah, I would. I would.
Okay, and then everything else is business as usual.
Fantabulous, thank you.
Mhm.
There is no design subcommittee report. Joe, floor is yours.
Good evening, all. We have our typical agenda, field report, PV system update, and kitchen update. So Perkins Eastman's been out the 23rd, the 27th, and the 30th. Our next site visit is Friday, and that'll be for punch listing the CAO and the CMS admin, and I think if Alex gets to it, he might start in building B as well. Richter and Segan's been out on the 30th as well. We're working through closeout submittals and RFIs. I think we have one remaining open right now. So some exterior pictures really coming together. So bus loop is in. I think it's paved as of the pictures I saw today. These are already old. Courtyard's looking great. It's planted. Claudia will have some maintenance in here eventually, but it looks really good. A view back to the Main Street, the CMS Falcon logo on the back of the building that faces the field came out really nice as well. A view of the kitchen, the cafeteria and the rear of Main Street, and then another view of the amphitheater also came out really well.
The amphitheater seats, is that brick or is it just shadow?
It's brick base, and then the top is cast stone.
Nice.
And it's the dark cast stone that matches the window sill.
When you sit on it?
I don't think it should.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And then I'm going to go backwards. So this is the typical science classroom. The millwork's in, floor is all in. So I think this is in building B, so it's ready for punching. This is the view of the, I think that's the media, no, that's robotics, yeah. Cafeteria, looking out. Auditorium, it's basically the same picture that I had last time, but it looks really good, so I wanted to show that again. And I think the lights are all finished in here now. The lights in the cove are in. The wood at the proscenium's in, and the front of the stage. Another view of Main Street, the tiles going in. I think they're almost finished with that, probably by now. And then the wall graphic in the cafeteria, which came out really great. This was a picture that Ron sent us. And then Rebecca did a great job even incorporating the horn strobe. It looks like a red dot at the end of act. Oh, I had the kitchen next. So one of our site visits was a walkthrough with Sandra Shore of the kitchen with Neely, who's our food service consultant. They went over the pot wash and dishwash lines, so how that operates. I think the resultant out of that is that we're going to order a additional cart for additional drying capacity. We talked about the milk cooler, so it turns out that it's a requirement it's a state regulation relative to the reimbursement program for the free lunch and free breakfast program. So it's not actually a health code, so it comes out of that. So we're waiting for a cut sheet on what that equipment is so we could coordinate the power for it. We were hoping to use the power that's either here and here, but the cut sheet that we were recommending, we sent to CES, and they're saying that we would need an additional outlet, that the two outlets here, the circuits wouldn't be able to handle the load of multiple pieces of equipment. So there would be an additional outlet here for that. And then the snacks would get located directly next to the cashiers, which was a preferred location. As part of the walkthrough, it was pointed out that there's a AV rack that's located in the food storage room, which is going to take up some of the storage space that we were anticipating. This rack serves the cafeteria for the AV, and it also serves the gymnasium for the AV capabilities. So we're looking at options to relocate that rack. All of them have complications to them, so one option would be to relocate it within this closet to over here, and that would, there's a rack there that would be food service that could be located up here. It's a smaller rack than the one that would have been here. Option two would be in the custodial workroom. I'd have to talk to Claudia to really understand what goes on there to see if that would even be viable.
Option 2 is not viable. There's another panel there already.
Okay. Or anywhere within this space. So that would be another alternative. Option 3 would be in the main data room. So I'd have to talk to Steve to see if this rack could be installed in that room. Depending on who needs access to that room, I'd have to understand that better. And then the fourth option would be in the gym storage. But again, I don't know if students have access to that, and we'll have to look at that. So typically these racks get installed in a back-of-house room, and being that this storage room here was the closest to the cafeteria and the gym is why it was located there.
What about the utility room?
Oh, the electrical room, I don't believe there's any wall space available. It's full of panels there as well.
Is proximity to the auditorium and gymnasium a factor? Meaning if you did move it towards the data room, for example, it doesn't matter how far away from the rooms it is?
So
Besides cost for lining? and all
cost
that.
right now would be the determination of that decision. The further it moves from where it's currently installed, the higher the cost would be.
I mean, like if you're trying to use the AV system in the cafeteria, but it's like farther away, does it impact the ability to use the system?
No, it shouldn't. It's just length of wiring, and I believe the reason it was located here was because initially due to cost and trying to control costs, so this is the closest back-of-house space to the cafeteria and the gym.
Are you able to control it from the space that you're in? Or do you?
Yes.
Only, so there's like a tablet or something that,
Yeah, so this
So, like,
is
pull
this is
down
like
the
the
screen?
the server of that space, and then within each space, it would be controlled within that space, and it goes back to that room.
okay.
So when I talked to D'Agostino, it would only need to be accessed once or twice a year for maintenance.
For like maintenance, not
Correct.
like for a teacher who's trying to display something or,
There's a touch screen right there
okay,
in the cafe and the
Right.
gym.
okay.
So, I'm sorry, and you said putting in the data center was or was not an option?
In this room here,
Yeah.
sorry, Claudia. I think it would be. I just would want to confirm with Steve if I don't know who would need to access this panel. If it would be his staff, and
Yeah.
just want to make sure before we try to locate it in there.
I didn't appreciate how much it stuck out in that, in where it is right now, like
Mhm.
how much space, because it's not just, like everything below, the whole wall is pretty much not usable
Right.
where that rack is.
So
What
we-
happens if it has to stay there?
The rack that is there would end up getting located out here, where there is room for that, and it would make it slightly inconvenient to get to this corner rack here. So this wall here is a high-density storage shelving system, so the shelves are able to roll, so you are able to access it, but, and we'll also, D'Agostino still needs to do their punch list on all these items as well, so there's
Okay.
some questions of one of the other
Is it-
racks, too.
Is it a safety issue for getting into the high-density racks?
I don't think so. I think it's more convenience and
convenience.
not maximize the storage in that space.
Like lost food storage?
Yes, so it'd have to be located outside the storage room.
And if those racks are being moved in and out.
You could hit it.
Right.
So I guess find out what your options are, how much the ROMs for the changing it is, and then we'll decide next time.
Okay. Yes.
Are the bleachers closed and open?
Use your mic.
Yeah, Claudia, if you couldn't speak into the mic, please, thank you.
Or motorized? The motorized move in and out?
Oh, the bleachers? Yes, they're motorized.
I don't think your mic's on, Claudia. Sorry. Oh. Yours.
Is there space behind the bleachers
Behind the bleachers? No.
at all?
No.
Okay.
Behind the bleachers.
I mean, the other option would be in the auditorium. I'm not, sorry, in the cafeteria. But then it would be access to the students. It is a closed cabinet. It's lockable, but, I mean.
You're worried
it's-
about them damaging it?
Well, it could get, it's not the, oops.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a back-of-house type of item, so. We have installed them in spaces, but usually in a retrofit application. Oops. Where did?
All the other kitchen issues resolved.
Yes.
All right, anyone have any questions for Joe? Did you have an Eversource update?
I do, and I had a slide, but I don't know where it went, so I'll just give it verbally. So not Newfield. CES has heard back from Eversource. They got comments and questions from them, which they've addressed relative to locations of different pieces of equipment, and they've addressed it, and they've sent those revised documents back to Eversource. Once Eversource reviews those, they'll be looking to set up a meeting to go over a virtual meeting or on-site with Eversource, and we're still waiting to hear about the grid. We have not heard information back on that, of their analysis of that yet. So that's the Eversource update as of today.
I did forget to add something, speaking of Eversource, to my update. We heard back from Charlie from Eversource. He had reached out to Jack and myself about an additional incentive that we are eligible for based off of the insulation ratings, I guess, internal to the building. Is that right? Was that the insulation that drove it?
It's part of their natural gas efficiency program.
Okay.
and it deals with the building envelope. Obviously, the electrical has a lot to do with the equipment that we put in.
Yeah.
Natural gas is only concerned with our heating load, so the installation Perkins provided us confirmations of square footages of different wall types, the roofing, the insulation values in each. Eversource cranked the numbers and said, well, this program has a cap of $200,000, and you were you're in a comfort zone where you maxed it out at $200,000. So our original incentive was going to be roughly $311,000 pending verification. We got another $200,000 coming on top of that. We need to get all of our documentation.
Yeah, that's a good clap.
Confirmations in so that they can write a check before the end of the calendar year, because if they don't spend the money, it goes away,
Right.
which will put the fire under everybody to get them the information at closeout so that they can do their verifications.
So basically,
They
as soon
write
as we
one-
get the
They write
CO.
one check for both
Yeah.
incentives.
So as soon as we open up the school, we have to, so they can get that ball rolling.
Yeah.
And they gave us the paperwork that we have to fill out, right?
Did you sign that one document yet?
No?
That first, page one needs to be signed by you, and then the other documents will be signed, I believe, by CES when they do their verification post-occupancy.
Okay. I thought I had to sign it when I submitted all the paperwork, but you're saying sign it now?
Page one, if you sign it, send it to me, I'll take care of it.
Okay, awesome.
And we don't have to have the system installed already? It's the intent to install?
This has nothing to do with the PV.
No.
This
Oh,
is
it's just- oh, the
just
interconnect.
the
Just
basic
design.
building.
Okay, got it.
There's no additional incentive with the PV stuff, is there?
No.
I don't think so.
I apologize, I missed the first figure.
311,000 is coming to us under the basic energy blueprint type of program, when then this natural gas
Additional
efficiency
charge,
is another 200,000.
Weren't we going for an advanced commissioning incentive or something too?
That's a direct subsidy to the engineer of record, where Eversource writes them a $5,000 check.
No, that's not the one I was thinking
To go
about.
through all the extra paperwork.
I thought there was one other one that we were going for. Thinking back like a year.
Unless it's part of the 311,
Yeah.
I don't remember there being a standalone commissioning.
I like vaguely remember this, that we had to like add on advanced commissioning, I think, to get the 311 to like verify that, you know, we did all the
Yeah.
proper energy efficiency steps. It might be that.
I think that sounds right.
And you said this, it can't be submitted until after occupancy, so.
Until school
If-
opens is what they said, right?
If we can get it to them this summer before the kids come back, I mean, if we're done, and we can provide the paperwork, they'll start crunching the numbers. They said, please get it to us before Q4. Everybody gets this on Q4, and then we're crazy.
Sure.
So,
But this is, you said,
sooner
this
is
is
better.
going, a check to the town of Cromwell.
Yes, this goes right to the town.
So unless we get it within the next 3 weeks, it'll be in next fiscal year's revenue item.
Right, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, any other questions for Joe? All right, moving on, Newfield.
Yep.
Yes, I agree.
Thank
you. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello, hello.
Yep.
Does anyone want a hard copy? I do have a few hard copies.
Sure, we can share one here.
Yes, I would like a hard copy.
Oh, I thought you meant of that giant picture. We'll take that too. Okay.
All right, so we're doing this in conjunction with Arcadis again, this go-around. So I'll go through the update here. I'll go high level. Right now, we're working on the site lighting. We're standing up light poles as we speak. Flat work, the prep and pour of the sidewalks is pretty much complete for this phase of the project right now. Site drainage work is nearing completion, and then you can see that in the pictures that we're boxing out, prepping, and placing pavement right now. As far as steel fabrications are concerned, all of the site rails, all of the interior rails, mist metals, all those kinds of things are showing up on site right now and being installed. The roofing, we're nearing completion. We have just a little bit more of the coping to do. Then we're going to go ahead and wash the roof, and we're shooting for an inspection of the roof somewhere around 6/13. The masonry, we have a punch list that's ongoing. We're working through that process right now. Probably going to call another meeting with Arcadis and Perkins in the field. Interior carpentry, all of the interior partitions are now framed. All of the drywall is installed, and they're finalizing some of the remaining taping that was around the front entry right now. And then the doors and hardware, most of the doors and hardware are already swinging. I've worked with Claudio. We got the correct cores and keys coming, and we'll deal with those when they get here. As far as the metal panels are concerned, they made a lot of hay in the month of May, and they're pretty darn close to being complete with their installs. They got some detailing, some trim work to do, and a couple little areas to finish up, but they're pretty much there. As far as the aluminum storefront and curtain wall is concerned, we're capping, trimming, finalizing all of the installs now. We're going through the quality control aspect of everything, and we've been punch listing a majority of the items there. For plumbing, mechanical, fire protection, security, AV systems, all of that stuff, we're in the process of commissioning those systems right now, and we actually started ringing out the fire alarm today. We're going to be testing the elevator interface with the fire alarm, the fire alarm with the kitchen equipment. All of that stuff is coming up within the next week or two. And that's in preparation, obviously, for getting the signed TCO from the town. As we get into the acoustical ceilings, 95% of them are done now, if not more. They're working on the acoustical panels within the band room and choral room, as well as the auditorium right now. You'll see in my pictures in a moment here that the auditorium panels. And then as we get into the finishes like floors and millwork and ceramic tile, they're almost all complete right now. I anticipate completion first half, mid part of June. And then the plantings, as you saw from Joe's picture, they're going on all the way around the building right now. As far as construction progress is concerned, Tri-State Materials is on site. They're monitoring continuously while we've been pouring the concrete as well as placing the asphalt. And they actually did provide us their final sign-off on the Statement of Special Inspections. We have that, as well as the final sign-off from the engineer of record for steel. So, yeah, no worries. Hear me better?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Freeman Companies continues to do the stormwater management plan. We haven't had any deviations on any of that. Do you want to hit anything on that, Ron?
No, right now I know you've had some minor issues out on the street that's been taken care of, with Mathers and, with your attention to getting them out there. And
Mather does.
It doesn't come out of our project, right?
Nope.
Good.
Nope. Every time I get a citation, I forward it right to him, and he goes down with the check and pays it.
I believe it's been 2.
I think we're up to 4 now.
Okay. I was aware of 2, but anyways. But they're just doing their best to keep on top of them. Like I told you last night when that was brought up, they were using the north exit just due to logistics, and it was kind of slimy, but they had the tracking pad, but it was so they still tracked some stuff out, but they had the sweeper there, and I guess it was between
sweeps, they got called up for it.
It was really rainy too, so we were bringing mud on, so. All right, I'm not gonna get into the 2-week. It's here if you wanna see it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It's pretty much everything that I just talked about. As we get into the photos, this photo here was taken yesterday, and if you look at the one that I brought, you'll see just how much progress we made in one day out there. It's pretty amazing. You'll see right here, Board of Education is basically ready to occupy from the standpoint of getting access into the area from the south side here now. This is all binder, yes. And parking will be right here. This will be all handicap right here, visitor parking here, and then all the other parking will be back in this area. This is the courtyard. We got fence all the way around the TST now. This path is actually now down and around. You can see that in the hard picture here. All of the plantings within the courtyard have been planted now, and they're actually moving their way this way. All the plantings around the amphitheater are already done as well.
We did get a comment last night from Planning and Zoning where they really liked the plantings that went up. They said looked really sharp.
That's good to know. And we have establishment of grass. Grass is starting to grow around the bank of the TST now.
Chris, we have 1 year on the plantings?
Yes.
1 year from, when did the clock start?
Date of install. You do have some trees out there that are going to need to be replaced. Yep. This is a good shot of the access road around the building. That's for the fire department and your emergency crews. Your loading area is pretty much formed out here now. This is your receiving door. This would be the kitchen area right here with the caf here. And then these are just some interior shots. This is the BOE, final cleaned, ready for FF&E. You'll see on the side in here that we've put up some of these wall panels. Those are actually going to all be done by tomorrow. And we're getting prepared to strike the lines for the paint for underneath the seats. And then we'll install the seats somewhere around the 11th. And then we can do the carpeting, and we're pretty much there with the auditorium. This is actually the workroom within the BOE, ready for furniture, equipment, whatever it is. Serving line, all cleaned up, ready for health inspections.
Chris, you want to touch on that? We had the health out there on a preliminary walkthrough.
Yeah, we had very happy with what she saw. We're looking forward to having her come back and sign off. We've been working actually with Food Facilities International and Perkins Eastman. There was a minor punch list that was sent out on Monday, which we're working through right now in preparation of getting the sign off in the kitchen. This is the same picture as Joe's. I just gave you the whole cafeteria. This is the 8th grade wing right here. All the lockers are in, final painted. All the rooms are clean, ready for furniture. Same picture as Joe in robotics, and then I have the tile work in this picture. This was taken yesterday. Was right down at the main street. They finished that, and now they're working down the hallway to Band and Choral, as well as down the hallway between the gym and the cafeteria. Any questions?
Where you at with the commissioning of all the mechanicals and all that?
They're doing a great job. We're all major systems are online. Water balancing is pretty much complete. They've been running through the air balancing of all the registers, diffusers, and grills at a rapid pace. We're trying to get into a position where we have the most complete preliminary tab report that we can have for the TCO. I don't see any issues with anything right now, knock on wood. And I believe SES is pretty much on board with all of that, so.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yeah, looks really, really top notch, top notch.
All right, just give you a quick little update on the move management. This coming Monday, Arcadis and Myers will be meeting with the Board of Ed and the admin to just follow up on the status of getting stuff ready to move. On the 16th, furniture is going to start arriving for the Board of Ed and for the central office, for the admin, for the school. This is a little out of order here. And then depending on how they're packing, where we are on the 9th, once school is out, the last day is the half day on the 12th. And the 13th, we're looking to coordinate some move out so that I believe the fire department has some training that weekend. So we'll be coordinating with Claudio to find out exactly what areas will be the first priority that will get some stuff moved out of there. Then, as we move along through the month of June, Myers will be moving the school supplies that are going to be going over to the new school into the temporary storage trailers. And then a little bit further on down the month, the 27th is a Friday, and that is the last day that Ann and her staff will be in the school along with the BOE. And that will be coordinated to get their personal belongings, what have you, shifted over. So prior to that, all the IT and what have you will be up and running. Then the following Monday, they will be live for business. And I believe, Chris, you had shared the temporary access plan, and I know you're working on another version on that, I believe.
Yeah, we had a meeting with staff and Ron, and we proposed 2 different tracks for the logistics plan for September, and we're, well, late August, early September. And one shows us using the get that far in the project, and one shows us similar to what the current condition is right now for the drop-off in the bus loop. So we're hoping to get the first, but if we don't, we'll still have you ready for the second, okay?
And with that, with the logistics plans, I know Dan have been talking nonstop with Ann, just keeping her in the loop and transportation. So we'll keep everybody apprised to where we are there. Right, and so there's no surprises. Then, during the move, we have the piano, some lodge music stuff, risers, kettle drums, etc. Working with Newfield. Once we start, we'll have a place in the new building that we can temporarily store some of this material, supplies, etc. So that it doesn't go into the storage trailers. When we move the pianos, we move it once, and it goes from one building back into another conditioned building, so it's not, or go into a different facility, then have to hoist it back up and move it 3 more times. We're tentatively scheduled to start moving the new furniture in on July 1. And that would be, the contents of the building. We were looking to try to get some early starts on some of the density storage for the band and choral room, but just where we are trying to get TCOs, alarms, and what have you, get all those systems in, we push them off till the 30th. which they're a day early, but we were hoping to try jumping them in a couple days earlier, but just logistically, we just want to make sure that, that we don't have doors open when they're trying to check door contacts, et cetera, going through the TCO. Robert Lord will be, not Robert Lord, Hilliard will be delivering your cleaning equipment the first week in July, so that the cleanups, what have you, on the new finishes, what have you, those supplies will be there. So we'll coordinate where we're going to dump the order and have it shaken out to wherever the closets you want them. And then as things roll around later in July, early August, then we'll once we have the furniture in and what have you, then we'll be bringing back the school contents back out of the trailers. So we'll be working through those dates in the next week or so. On those hard dates, we'll be coordinating that.
Okay, so July 1st, power off on the old school. Yes? When do we start demolishing things?
We currently have the demolition contractor mobilizing on 6/13, and they will be starting the abatement process on 6/16. And then I believe it was either 2 or 3 weeks to get through that process, and then the heavy demo of that gym wing will begin.
So they go through the whole school with the abatement? Because if they have no power, how does that work?
We're going to temporarily feed a panel for them.
Okay.
And the same with water. We'll use the hydrant local to the existing building with a temporary water meter that we've gotten from the water department, and they'll use that to mist down as they're doing the demo.
And then when do we start getting rid of equipment we're not moving? Ron or Chris, one of you.
Sorry about that. The leftover supplies in the building, equipment,
Like
furniture,
old desks and stuff?
old desks, those are going to stay there, and that'll be the demolition contractors clean out.
Yes, there's a cutoff. We've talked with Claudio of when they have to have all the stuff that you guys want to reclaim out of the old building at a certain date. Once that certain date happens, then the demo contractor will start emptying the contents of the building.
So we don't have that date yet?
Jesus, and I'd have to get back to you on that. It's in the schedule, I know that.
As long as Claudio knows.
Yeah.
We've all discussed it, yes.
All right, thanks.
Our intent is to be completed removing it. Is this thing on or off? Yeah. Our intent is to have everything we want to take out of that building by before the 20th.
Of June?
20th. June 20th.
Okay.
Taking that 1 week, the 16th to the 20th, to mobilize. I'm mobilizing staff to pull everything that we want to take out of there during that time, and then get it out of the building. One thing, Ron, the GHO uses the WISP parking lot as overflow. So on Monday, the 9th, following the walkthrough, let's convene with Myers to confirm the location of where the trailers are gonna go.
Right.
Because there might be an opportunity to move the trailers to the service area behind Woodside rather than a large parking lot.
Yeah, it's whatever's going to work for you.
Yeah.
And
There's no school, so it won't be in our way.
right. So
it won't be a problem.
yeah. So on Monday when we have Myers here, we'll go through that and we'll take a ride over and make sure that everything's good.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And again, we have the tags for moving. It's green tags for all the boxes that are going to be going out, and whatever goods that Claudio needs, we got new stickers for that so that they can put them on, and then Claudio can make a note, or whoever's making the note, to know where it's going. So if they got stuff going to Woodside or something that might be going to the library, senior center, or whatever, they'll be tagged and and what have you. So that it's going to be. I think it's going to be really well organized the way. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
In here following July 1st into the new building. At that point, the Board of Ed already be there. So the head custodian will be responsible to clean that area, and also he'll be there as a resource for the construction team to discuss things that are being installed and being placed, so he's aware where everything is.
Right.
So he'll be there during that, from July 1st till the school is open. But I'm
Right.
gonna pull all the other custodians out, unless they have to attend training for certain components.
Right. And again, with the training, we'll work with Chris, for a couple of your vendors. I think a couple of your vendors may be already here as it is, but we just want to make sure that they're involved with the training and startup.
The critical ones are there, HVAC and security are our contractors and vendors and all our other schools, and they happen to be the contractors on this project.
Okay.
So they're familiar with all the
Right.
components. We're not starting from scratch.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
One quick question. Do we have a plan for the dinosaur footprint rock and the memorial that are in front of the school? Those are all covered?
Yes, we've gone through that with the demo contractor and the site work contractor. Demo contractor has anything 5 feet and into the building. Site work contractor has everything 5 feet and out. That dinosaur rock is 5 feet and out. We've already went through the whole plan.
Okay, and we know where they're gonna go and,
Yes, they're on the drawing.
okay, I'm good, thank you.
All right.
This came up at the final bell ceremony, and I couldn't remember if we discussed it, but the original building committee plaques, and then I think there's like a Captain Man memorial kind of plaque. Do we ever discuss what's happening to those?
I thought we talked about it at one of our meetings. We're going to move them over as like a, I don't know where, like a,
Okay.
So
that's, like,
remembrance
confirmed, that's
of
in the-
old school stuff.
Yeah, that's in the plan.
Well, that's up to Claudia. I mean, if you want to keep that stuff, he'll figure that out. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we have to go back and
What?
talk. Oh, sorry. More questions?
They looked confused.
Joe and I will look into that and
Okay.
let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's go back and talk about the digital signage. So again, we need to kind of make a decision as to what we're going to present to the town council on the 25th. Right now, we, as a committee, voted for the digital signage as our final design. Question that we have is, what other options do we want to provide to the town council as secondary options if they do not want to fund the digital sign? Open to discussion.
If I could suggest a rephrasing of that,
Okay.
you don't want to come to somebody with a menu. You want to come to them with a request. And if the request is denied, you need a fallback plan. I think that's
Right.
where you are. So I
Yes.
think the path forward is we go to the council on the 25th, explain the digital sign, support it as best we can, and if they say no, then we know we can do the static name of building only.
Right,
But
so.
I don't think you go in there offering them, well, I could have steak, or I could have peanut butter. Which will you let us
we
have?
went in with that method last time, and they came up with we want you to go back and use the static lettering.
Plug-in letters.
So, because we didn't have another option, so I don't want, if we feel like the static lettering is too old technology, not representative of a STEAM school, then we should not offer that as a secondary option. So I would tell them, your options are the digital sign, which is what we voted on, what we preferred, this is what we're asking you to approve. If you don't approve, sign, no signage, no lettering. If that's what we decide. If we decide that, you know what, lettering is better than nothing, then we can offer that as well. We're using no longer makes those static lettering anymore. It's old technology. They can make it for us. It'd be a custom build. So the cost to have a sign with what you're used to seeing today with the lettering would be about $15,000. Again, it represents old technology. When people come to visit the school and they see that, they're not going to think we have a STEAM school with high-tech technology. They're going to think, oh, here's an old school that has old technology, and it's not And it is those signs, which is why they never get updated. That's why the high school had the same sign for like 2 months straight, and why the middle school had the same sign for 2 months straight, because it is effort. And to go out there and update and move those letterings around, and it's not, there's so many other things that the school has to do that the custodians or whoever does it on their list, that is not a priority for them. So, and the messaging provides a lot of value, not only to the community, but also to the teachers, the staff. You know, having messages like Teacher of the Year or Welcome Back or Celebrate our whatever today, like that means a lot to them. And to be able to do that within seconds off of a website that you just punch in the words you want to use is, I think, extremely valuable. So, I understand. So, those are the options. So we have to figure out what is the secondary option we want. If they reject it again, I want to make sure they know what they are voting for by rejecting a digital sign, which last time they didn't know what they were voting for because they didn't have another option. They just assumed the option. Now we want to give them an actual, like, if you don't approve this, you're going to get that.
Rosanna, is there any value in presenting what the delta is between what the digital sign costs and what eventually the static sign actually is going to cost, since it has to be custom made? They don't even make
It's
it anymore.
$15,000 for the static sign.
And
It's 50-ish for the digital, because a big part of the cost for the digital sign, this came up in a couple of discussions as well, was $12,000 to run the line, which I still don't understand why it's so expensive, since we already have the conduit in there to run a line. That'd be like, how many feet is it? 1,000 feet? Is it 1,000 feet? And there's light poles around there. We couldn't like connect to a light pole or something because the conduit's not there. And yeah.
The lighting goes through a lighting control panel, which is separate from the
Oh, right, 'cause it was shut
building
off.
clock and everything.
But if the time clock's similar, like if we're gonna shut it off between 10 and 6 anyway. The lights are not solar powered, you're saying they only go on at night? Is that what you're saying?
They're on a time clock.
Okay.
time clock's in the building, not on the actual sign.
I got you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So if the lights went on, the sign would go on. If the lights went off, the sign would go off. So even during the daytime, you wouldn't have a sign because the lights were off.
Yeah. And how many feet approximately do they have to run a line for? Do you know? Do you remember? offhand?
It's about 1,000 feet, and you have 3 conductors in there, so it's 3,000 feet of wire plus whatever else is going on
Yeah.
there. And a transformer, yep, step-down transformer, actually step-up transformer.
So when you say static sign, is it a static or manual variable message sign?
Yes.
So that's one option. A static sign would just be building name only,
Right. That's option 3.
and then there's the digital sign.
Right. Those are your 3 options. Yep.
Yeah, so.
Or keeping what you have today. I guess
did-
is a
did we-
4th option.
Yeah, did we have a design for what, just something that said Cromwell Middle School?
We do. It's basically the digital sign without the digital part of it.
Okay, and that costs?
I don't know if Ron, you got a cost for just the sign that says Cromwell Middle School, nothing else on it. Do you remember?
Okay, I'm just looking at one of the quotes that we had for the alphabet sign. That was the one with the cards you put in.
Yeah. I thought you told me it was 15,000 for that.
Well, it was 15 for the the top sign, which would say the Cromwell Elementary School. That is the middle school. It's a little over $5,000, $6,000 because it's in pieces.
So it's 6,000 just for the Cromwell Middle
Right.
School portion of it.
And then to fabricate the sign, because it's not there. The 36 by 60 manual letter message board is just the board itself is $4,200, and then almost $500 for a set of letters to put in it.
So it's under 15K then. Where'd the
It's
15K come from?
If you went with both pieces, it's 14,600.
Oh, for both sides? Okay, yeah. So 5,000 for each side.
Well, for the arch sign.
The arch is 6,000 and like 5,000 for each face of the,
No, it's 5,000 for the school sign.
mm-hmm.
And then another, but yeah, about $6,000 for the letterboard.
Per side?
No. for both
Total?
sides, yeah. So you get the Cromwell Middle School with the alphabet sign on both sides, so you can read it both ways. That was 15, just call it 15,000.
The numbers are not adding up. You said 6,000 for the Cromwell Middle School portion at top,
Yep.
and then 6,000 for the lettering is $12,000.
Yeah, then he had the raised graphics, so the 65, then he had travel, fab and assembly. Was
Okay, so all the
1,000,
other stuff that goes into
it's all
putting it in.
all the miscellaneous pieces.
But does that go into the static sign? All that travel and fabrication?
Yeah, it would have to be, yeah.
So
So the static sign is more than $6,000.
Sounds like it's about 9 or 10.
It's going to be, ballpark, it would be, I'm just looking at his, trying to figure out his numbers here, so.
Yep.
So you got 51, and then the raised text on the sign was
So it'd be
another
the-
15, so
the
they're
total
65.
cost minus the signage part. It
So
sounds-
about 7,500 for the top part. But, everything is, combined together with travel and assemblies and stuff like that.
If we're saying 6,000 for the lettering part of it, and the whole thing's 15,000, I would say the difference is 9,000 for
So
just
you
the.
still had travel,
Yeah.
travel was a line, so.
That makes
That's what I'm
sense.
saying. If it's 15,000 right now for the whole package, and it's 6,000 just for the lettering
Yeah.
part of it, the difference is 9,000. That's how
Well,
much
yeah,
you
his-
expect to pay.
Right, and some of the assembly might be less because, that was just.
Sure. So
Yeah,
somewhere
and
between
that's
8 and
before
9,000.
reimbursement.
That's before reimbursement.
Right.
So between 8 and 9,000.
So like, apologies, I have to step out in a minute, and I know I'm also not voting, so I'll just leave my opinion here with all of you. If a digital sign is good enough for the fire stations in town as a communication mechanism, it should be good enough for a STEAM school. I know it's more expensive, so if the town can afford it and votes to be able to afford it, the digital sign makes sense to me. If the backup plan that we're putting together is one or the other, I think we need Enza or Dr. Macri and the school to say what they would prefer to live with.
I think Selena said that to go with just a plain sign at that point.
That would be,
Because you
I
don't
would
want.
say whatever they choose, because they're the ones that are going to have to maintain it.
I don't think you want something that looks that.
As a parent, I would love to be able to see a message, because sometimes I don't always read the newsletter in a timely manner, and when I drop my kid off at school, I know who the teacher of the year is.
It'd be good to have timely messages too.
So, just saying,
hear
I
you.
try,
I know.
but I do appreciate the message boards, personally.
Especially when it's like open house day, you're like, oh yeah, today's open house. Thank you for reminding me.
100%.
100%.
So,
Yeah,
if it's good enough for the fire station, it should be good enough for the school.
thank you. Any other comments?
I just want to make sure I understand the financials. So about $9,000 for the static sign, about $15,000 for the manual letter sign, and then this digital sign is the 50,000, right? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I remember seeing, I still don't know, I don't have the picture of the sign. I remember it was flashed on the screen when one of our digital meetings, but I think we went with a more, I'll say, plain, top because we had a digital. But if we were going to just put the top, I think it'll look a little basic. I mean, you might as well, right? Do you have a picture of it, Ron?
It's like that.
There's like not much more use.
And this just says Cromwell Middle School.
For instance, WIS looks more. Yes, thank you.
It'd be like that. And then if this goes away, this will probably come down more and be more centered to the thing. It'll be bigger.
Right. I'm saying it's a piece of board that says Cromwell Middle School.
The other thing to keep in mind too is
Routed letters, I guess.
because we went to planning and zoning and they approved it, we cannot change the footprint of the sign. So where it is, as far as where the poles are, the width, height stays the same. You can remove the digital screen and put something else there, but you can't, like, if you look down on it on a blueprint, you can't change. You can change a call out, but you can't change, like, where it is in respect of things.
We go with the digital sign, all out, because if they turn it down, we don't have to go back to them anymore. We already have approval for a regular static sign.
I just want to make
It's in
sure.
the specs.
But I would prefer if we had a position on whether or not we would go with the lettering sign or not. Because because last time they voted with the assumption that we're going to go with static lettering sign, right? But if that is not an option, if we're saying, no, we're not going to do that as a building committee, we're voting against that, then they need to know that your option is just a plain sign. Or if we are okay with the lettering sign, personally, I would not vote for a static lettering sign.
I will agree with that, because if the purpose of this is to communicate with the community and with the parents, if there's a band concert this week, and there's a chorus concert this week, and then there's open house, and then whatever it is, we're not changing it every week, so you're not getting timely communication anyway. Congratulations to Jane Sarnowski, she's going to be up there for 2 months. If the purpose is communication, the letters make no sense.
Right.
Because it's not really communication.
And just sit there.
Yeah,
Like,
it
they're
just sits
gonna sit
there,
and
yeah.
static, and you're not really, you're going to be, it's a waste of money, let's put it that way. You're going to waste money by putting static letters in, because they're not going to change the messages enough. They're going to be outdated. Why even have it then at that point?
Yeah,
And it looks horrible.
I agree with that sentiment. I would just want to make sure we confirm that Dr. Macri would agree and that Mrs. Cochiolo would agree with that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I did have a question for the digital sign when we talked about protections around it. Is there some type of covering, plastic enclosure, or something of the sort? Yeah.
Okay. The screen is, the way that they manufacture it with the cubes and what have you, they're made to, be, not be vandalized, but if, you get the incidental hitting on it, it's made to withstand
Okay, so the
that.
screen is durable versus it's enclosed in a...
The assembly is made to be outside in this application. It's not like it's not as temperamental as your TV in your house if it got hit by a ball, but out here it's it's not going to take a baseball bat to it. I know they show the videos where they hit them with a bat, but that's vandalism versus your everyday.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll try to attend the meeting myself. I mean, we decided on the digital sign. We put a lot of thought into it. I think it is a resource, and I think they keeping cost conscious in mind. Of course, we should point out that this would likely come out of owner contingency.
Mm-hmm.
So I know last time we talked about the bid savings, and
Plus, we just got another
and
$200,000 from
I think
Eversource.
that's all relevant. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't even think anyone's like baked in the 311. So I think it's 511 of revenue to the town. But I think the point is that there's the bid savings, but we have the owner contingency, and that's worth also talking about as well. And that's what would fund it. So. Okay.
Okay, so I guess we can leave it as, we're going to go forward with the digital sign.
I do think we need something to present. I mean,
Yeah.
we could talk, but if we need to have a slide that has a picture of what we want with a cost and a slide of what the alternative would be
Right.
with the cost.
So we have that. We have the sign, though I think we want to massage the plain sign a little bit more, because it looks just kind of top heavy, like just make it more square. I'll talk to you about it, and we'll figure that out with Heather. So we'll leave it as go forward with the digital sign, and then I'll follow with Dr. Macri and Selena about what their alternate choice is, and then we'll put that as like the alternate choice with the town council. But I'm pretty sure they're going to come back and say just do a plain sign, because the static lettering would just be a waste.
All right, so sooner the better, because if I got to get Mark to do any other modifications to the schematics or whatever,
Yeah.
I just need to have them have time.
Can you just send Heather because design subcommittee, can you just send her the rendering that you have today for the static without lettering sign?
Yeah.
It just, all it is it just kind of looks like,
Right.
like a top-heavy kind of thing. It's
Right.
basically
Yeah,
the sign we have today, removing the digital portion, but I don't think that's what we really
But
want
if,
to go with.
if we do remove the digital piece, it's not going to be.
It'd be like more centered down,
lower,
right?
You got to probably lower it 3 feet because you got
Yeah.
a 3x5 electronic
So-
billboard. So yeah, you would
So the
definitely.
Cromwell Middle School would go where the digital sign is right now.
Ballpark, yeah.
Okay.
Again, we'll get a rendering of that, just lowered to the ground, what have you.
Okay. All right, let's get into financials.
Okay. For the middle school, we have paid about almost $40,800,000 out the door. We've got unencumbered, that's contingencies, bid savings, and balances on uncommitted lines of just over $5 million, almost $5,050,000. And we've received so far about $11.25 million from the state with additional drawdowns pending. For the middle school, for the central admin side, we have paid to date about $2.3 million. Again, because of the small grant value, we're only allowed a couple of drawdowns, and we haven't drawn anything to date. But by the end of the summer, we'll have the major push, basically bill our permissible 85% of costs in one shot, and then just leave the final payment at project completion. Changes in the last month. Items that are highlighted have changed since last time. We've had some change orders that went through. We've had some fee adjustments, commissioning, I'd say the fee adjustments, paid to date, expended to date. The items that we've paid this last month is generally fees and construction. We did have a small bill for communication technology that was paid, but as was noted, the majority of furniture and equipment and technology is still pending. On central admin, again, fees, construction, and a whole $64 worth of communications and technology hardware. So spend down is going as planned.
When are we going to send something to the state to reimburse for the admin office?
As I was saying, since we're only allowed a couple of drawdowns because of the small grant value,
Oh, yeah.
and since they stop paying when you get to 85%, we'll probably draw the 85% or close to it in that first payment. And then when we achieve substantial completion, so after the demolition and whatnot happens, then they will give us another payment, and then we get the retainage back when we have our audit.
And then at what point can we say that the 746 is in the bank for the unencumbered amount for the central admin, since they're moving in like a month?
The 746, what are we talking, 746?
The $746,000 of unencumbered for the admin office?
Yeah, no, you're right, Jeff.
That number.
There we go.
If they're moving in like a month, at what point do we say that's done? And
We could make that claim again. A good chunk of that 746 was bid savings and then some owner contingency. To what end are we parsing these numbers at this time? Just to tell the town we finished well?
yeah,
So, yeah, I would think after day two, I mean, we use that term as, the things that people say, oh, I never asked for ...
bookcases.
And we need some miscellaneous items right after opening.
Okay.
So I would think by the September or October report, we should be able to
Okay.
report that out as essentially complete.
But while we're back here, because the state reimbursement, I know it's what do you go every other month, Jack? On the middle school, it's the same amount reimbursed, 11.2 million. That's the same as on April 1st.
Yeah,
so
they're
it's-
saying they don't go back every month.
Yeah, the maximum you can go back is every 2 months,
right.
so.
on April
You know,
1st.
I know-
2
I know
months
that-
ago.
We just
Maybe
started-
we're just at the
We
cutoff.
just started June.
This is as of June 1st.
Yeah.
Right. And as of April 1st, we had,
So, again, when we make a
April
draw,
1st is
when
2
we
months?
make a draw, there's several weeks processing between
Yeah.
when you ask
I'm
for
saying,
it
is
and when
there,
you
is
get
there
it.
a big one in pending, I guess, or ready to be launched? I just,
Emily's been working with finance, and again, we have to get certain records from finance in order to be able to build that package to ask for the draw. It's no longer a progress payment where you anticipate, you've got to actually show the check numbers. And so that there has been
okay.
back and forth with Emily on getting those records together. So I believe we either have one that's in process and waiting to be paid, or one that will be submitted at the end of June. I'm not quite certain, but I know that we've been working closely with finance to make sure we keep the cash flowing the best we can.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
For owner contingencies, our balance on owner contingency on the school side is 1.5 million, 124,000 on the central admin side. We have all of our transfer record as typical. For approval tonight, we have a purchase order increase for digital back office in the amount of $23,034.63. This is to purchase another network switch. There was talk about trying to reuse some equipment from the existing building. That proved impractical, so they're requesting that we move in this direction. So this has been discussed at the change order meeting, and we're asking for your.
Can I
What was it? Was it
20
the change orders, or was this the first?
The 15,000, I can't
first
read what the 15,000 line item, what is that line item? $15,000 for what? That's the very top one. Do you remember?
I, even on the printout, I can't see with that level of detail.
Something Switch series, quad core, something.
This has gone through,
Shared packet buffer. What is that?
if you know what that
You
means,
got some good
I'll give you an ice cream bar.
It just seems like I mean,
Again, this was requested by your technology people, because reuse of some
Inverted
existing
switches
equipment in the
with 40
school was
copper
not
ports and 40
practical.
so it must be like something to hold the switches, I'm guessing, like some kind of, no?
I believe it's an additional switch. The way it was designed was, would have required more connections and more maintenance in the future. So this is a different way of reconnecting all the switches, or all the wiring through another switch, which will make it easier to maintain in the future for Steve.
Okay, I think
That's the-
maybe it's the term switch that's kind of,
Yeah, it's not a.
it's not a switch.
Yeah,
but it's
don't
like
ask me
a-
to describe it because I can't.
It's gotta be some kind of panelized something with a bunch of ports in it.
Yeah, it's equipment.
It's a network.
It's a network. Yeah, okay.
Did the change order approve it, or
So this is
make
a purchase, this is a
recommendation?
purchase order increase to an existing vendor.
Okay.
So we're asking for your approval of the increase of the purchase order in the value of $23,034.63,
Is there a
as
motion?
requested by your technology people.
Any discussion before you vote? Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries.
And we also need another purchase order increase for an additional rack, $771.18.
This is for the kitchen?
No, this is a computer equipment
Computer
rack.
equipment? Okay. Take a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries.
All right, and finally, invoices for approval.
Ouchies.
Big money prize goes to Newfield for just short of $4 million for the month. Total value tonight, technology equipment, materials testing, commissioning services, construction for Newfield, and owner's rep for Arcadis. Total invoices this month, $4,226,124.29, and we ask your approval.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Jack?
Did you want to talk about this fencing thing?
The memo?
Yeah, this,
Oh, I'm just going to mention the memo real quick because I don't really want to get into it tonight because we don't have all the information. But the question was posed about putting a safety fence along the eastern side of the soccer field, which is, we had talked about it before, one of those catch nets, right, for the soccer field. Reason being is that the fence line right now abuts the property owners on the other opposite side. So if any ball goes over, you're going to have kids jumping the fence going to someone's backyard to go retrieve those balls. So we would not have to go to planning and zoning if that fence, that netting, lays right on top of the fence. So Ron went off and got a preliminary quote to see how much that fencing or the netting would be. It's about, right now, around $70,000 to $80,000. You're going off with Richter Segan?
Yep, I reached out to Richter Segan to get a proposal to design
Yeah.
said netting.
Okay. Are they going to come up with like an estimate too?
Maybe, I don't know if they do that. We might do that
just-
through Newfield then, to confirm that number that Ron got.
Will there be an estimate for their services, though?
Well, it'll be a proposal for their services, the estimate of the cost. They might have an opinion of it, so I'll ask them for that.
I guess we just need to know like how much would it cost to do the design work,
Mhm.
and then conceptually, is it possible to put it on top of the fence?
Right, I'll have to ask them that. What
Is it a
how the
permanent
f-
structure?
No, it's like a, you string it up and then string it down. The poles are
Right.
permanent. It's like a flagpole type of netting that
Okay.
goes up and down, so if it's
Right, because-
winter, it'll come
Yeah,
down and.
because the poles that they were looking at, they're probably 4-inch galvanized, 20 feet high. So
Does that cost include the installation of the poles?
that was their
Design.
and they're a design build.
So that cost includes design and installation? And then we would just put the fence, do they realize there's a fence in between? Does that impact anything?
Well, they gave the ROM,
Yeah.
off of, just a quick preliminary,
Right.
Putting 20-foot poles, 20 feet on center, and 20-foot net, design, they would have to get a building permit, so they would have to, provide the structural stability, for their building permit, et cetera, so.
Okay.
So that would that be in front of the fence? What they quoted?
Be able to put it on top of a chain link fence, a 4-foot chain link fence.
No.
No,
You-
it would have to be a freestanding structure.
It'd be freestanding, but then you just put the chain link fence in between the poles. Right?
There would be two separate systems.
Yeah, would-
Yeah, you'd be
The poles would be right adjacent to the fence,
On the infield side, I'm assuming.
on the school side of the fence.
Yes, yes.
Why couldn't the poles be in line with the fence? What am I missing?
Your chain link fence is going to need poles more than 20 feet apart, closer than 20 feet apart.
Yeah, then you
They're
put,
two different systems.
you just put the, whatever pole you need in between the big poles, you put the little poles.
I suppose you could attach your chain link.
Yeah, I did it at my house. It's doable. I'm just saying if we did it that way.
Again,
We would-
with what we asked was, what would it be, to put a net, poles
still
with the
a kind of
nets,
pole.
so if, if we want to look at the chain link fence option, run the chain link fence between it and put intermediate poles and attach it and what have you. You can look at that, but then the problem that you have is how do you, hook the hardware without the fence going around.
yeah, and I don't remember what fence we ended up with there, because there was so much back and forth. I don't remember what.
It was
where we- I
black
think-
chain link.
Was it black chain link along the
Right.
property
Yeah.
line? Okay.
Wait,
6 foot,
6 foot, right.
6 foot black chain link.
May are you thinking, okay, if we normally would just have a black chain link fence, cut out the section and replace it with a net that will sometimes go up and be risen and sometimes won't be there?
So the net doesn't
what
go all
I'm
the way,
asking.
the
Could we
net
do
doesn't
that?
go all the way to the ground.
But is there a reason not to?
Because you have a chain link fence right
Do
there.
you need the chain link fence there? The chain link fence I thought was there to denote so the balls don't go outside
No,
the
the chain link
playing
fence is
area.
to prevent people from coming on the property. It's a property line.
Theoretically, you could
Okay.
you would only need the netting up during
Right.
season.
Right.
And you would take it down.
Right.
Yeah, you don't
But
want
if
it
you
up
take
all
it,
the time.
if you don't have a fence, you take the netting down, then you don't have a fence at all.
Right. It's almost like an open soccer field, like Wiss. I can walk right from. I mean, doesn't Wiss? You can walk right onto the soccer field. There's nothing stopping you from doing.
Right.
Well, that's a separate issue. I'm just saying. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Still a fence around West, you know, the whole
Yeah.
field area.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can't just walk onto the field, you gotta go through the gate.
Yeah, in between gates that have a
Right, so
gap.
this would have
Okay.
no fence at all, so
Anyone can just
any
walk onto
stray
school
dog can
property.
come across property.
You need
Okay.
a fence
Oh,
line.
all right, that's on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought we were just trying to enclose it because it looks nice. It
No,
can stop
no, no.
the balls, it can
That's like
define
a
sport
That's
area,
a
but-
property
okay.
line to keep people from coming onto school property.
Okay.
So I did ask the town manager if this is something he wanted to pursue, and his response was that he needed more information. I did speak to people in planning and zoning, and they thought it was a good idea because it did protect the neighbor's home so that you don't have random kids in their backyard retrieving balls, because they will go, those are expensive balls, they're gonna go get them.
I don't disagree that it's a value habitat that's there. There's other things that come with that fence that have to be taken into consideration and planned for
Yeah,
before you put the fence up.
sure.
Where'd the request come from?
It's just something we've been kind of talking on and off about for like a year now.
And what's the distance between the actual field and the fence? If it's at 5 feet, is it?
Do you remember what the
Is it 50 feet?
distance was off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. It's.
I thought it was like 20 feet.
I think it's 20.
Yeah, I think it's 20 feet.
It's at least. It's at
I
least.
thought there was
10.
a 20-foot perimeter around this field.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. I guess the question is, do we think this is even of value, or do we want to just kill it? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know, right, without looking at the site plan, like seeing what houses are there, what the property lines are, what existing fencing is there for the neighborhood, you know, so I think.
what I'll do is...
It's hard to visualize
Yeah,
right now.
I think what I'll do is I'll just go back to the town manager and just say, okay, ROM estimate, it's probably going to be somewhere between 70 million, jeez, $70,000, $80,000.
case, no, it's not worth it.
Definitely not worth it. $70,000, $80,000, and based off of that, is it something they want us to pursue or not? And I was hoping they'd make a decision, because if they're gonna just turn around and say, no, we don't want it, then we're not gonna waste our time. So, I'll
and
send them what I have.
Is it worth asking them if they, as the field maintainers, would be the one to store it? Or is that something that the school needs to figure out where to store?
Well, if they maintain the fields, I think they would have to store it, right, Claudio? Yeah.
I just think it'd be fair to clarify
Yeah.
that, so that there's clear expectations.
Yeah.
Unless Claudio, there's a reason you would want to store it.
Okay. Anyone have anything else they want to bring up?